How to make $20,000 a month wholesaling real estate as a side hustle. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I want to share with you exactly how you could start wholesaling real estate part-time. So if you're looking to get into this business and you don't have 17 hours, in a week to be going after, right? Maybe you have an hour or 2 hours and you can't make wholesaling real estate your full-time job. What I want to do today is really share with you exactly how you can make wholesaling your side hustle, start making some money, maybe up to like $20,000 a month, and then slowly but surely get deals every month so you can quit your job and make wholesaling full time. But the point here is we got to make wholesaling real estate our side hustle. Now, this is the same exact strategy that I use starting out in wholesaling real estate to go out here and become a rich and successful. I don't think a lot of people really know this, but starting out, I was a humble bag boy in high school, and wholesaling real estate wasn't my full-time thing. I got my first deal, then my second deal, then my third deal, and deals kept coming in every single month. Eventually made over $100,000 my first year wholesaling, and I was able to go full-time in this, but only after I actually made a consistent income with wholesaling real estate. Now, you can look at pretty much any other side hustle out here, and you're probably watching this thinking like, oh, what other side hustles can I do, right? I get all these people doing Amazon and FBA and all these things. And at the end of the day, the greatest side hustle of all time is wholesaling real estate. I scream from the rooftops telling everybody that if you want to get a ton of money really quickly with no money at all, wholesaling real estate is the thing to do. It is the only option. And a lot of people, when they hear about wholesaling real estate, they think it's this MLM scheme or this pyramid scheme type thing I'm trying to get. But I'm not even trying to take money from you. Most of those businesses, right, I'm asking you for money or to sign up or do this thing. No, I'm not even asking for any of this stuff. All I am asking you to do is just watch me become successful. And so really think about wholesaling real estate for a second. You can make $20,000 in under 30 days without working a full-time job. Maybe working a couple hours a day, 10, 14 hours a week. Really think about this, okay? So wholesaling real estate to get started is going to cost me $0. Let's go out here and think of every other type of business you could do. You have crypto coin trading. I'm gonna have to invest $3,000 or $4,000 into that, and hopefully I don't lose all my money. We can day trade stocks, which we know that's probably not the best bet to be doing because you have to invest at least $1,000 learning from somebody or looking at online, and then after that, we have to invest at least $2,000 or $3,000 of our own money to make 20 grand. Okay, that's out of the picture. I can make a detailing business, but that's gonna probably take me 4 or 5 hours a day. To make $20,000 is probably gonna be 14 hours a day. Plus I need the marketing. Okay, that's not gonna work. I could be a real estate agent, right? I have to spend thousands of dollars to get my real estate license, and I don't think a lot of people really understand this. To make over $20,000 as a real estate agent, you're gonna have to sell a property that's worth at least $670,000, or you're gonna have to sell 3 $200,000 houses. The amount of work that you have to do that is way more than wholesaling real estate, and how are you gonna go find these deals to list? Guys, you look at all these other businesses, the biggest hack to change your life is wholesaling real estate. So again, if you want an overview of this process that has just made me wildly rich and successful, let's go over it. All we do is we find ugly looking houses. Simple. Somebody's got an ugly house, we reach out and try to buy them. You gotta remember, so we find an ugly house, we meet the person that wants to sell their house, we write up a contract to go buy it, and then what I do is I sell that contract to a rich landlord or house flipper for a $20,000 finder's fee. Easy. And in a couple hours a day of work, that's pretty much all this business is. Now, obviously I'm full-time, there's other people doing it full-time, that's how you start making mega money in this business. But that's really it. It's not that complicated. This business is simple. And so you might be asking, Zach, how do I go out here and find these deals that I can make $20,000 finder's fees on? Well, number one, and probably one of my favorite ways to go out here, is to go on Zillow and go after something called the for sale by owners. Now, Zillow for sale by owners for any beginner out here is one of the easiest ways to find leads. Is it my favorite one? Probably not, but it's one of the easiest. And so you can go to Zillow, go to the for sale by owners section, and offer these people 65% off what their listing price is and see if they're willing to sell to you. Now, my rules are, at least for Zillow for sale by owners, I want them to be listed for over 100 days. I want you to make at minimum a 70% off the listing price. So if it's listed for 100, you need to lock it up for at least 70K or below. But it's one of my favorite ways to get deals really quick. On top of this too, you can do a strategy called driving for dollars, where you get in your car, you look for ugly looking houses. That is the name of the game here in this business. Once you find an ugly house, what I'd like you to do is to write that address down, go to a website like cyberbackgroundchecks.com or truepeoplesearch.com, get their phone number, and then call these people up and see if they want to sell their house. If they do want to sell their house, go meet them, lock up the contract. Now, another strategy here is kind of drawing for dollars, but I call it reverse drawing for dollars. And basically what reverse drawing for dollars is once you find that ugly house, go put a sticky note in the house. Make sure the sticky note says something like, hey, this is Zach, I had a quick question about your property. Please give me a call back. You'll get a lot of what we call inbound leads. So we're not actually calling and texting these sellers. They're actually reaching out to us, and get a lot of leads doing this. Now, another thing here are what we call digital bandit signs, and this is something I've been preaching for a lot of beginners to start doing. I've been preaching a lot of beginners to start doing here, but just go to Facebook groups. That's where a lot of these people you can find who want to sell their property for cash. All you have to do is just let these people know you're looking to buy houses in the area for cash. And I like using a software like ChatGPT or Gemini AI, one of these free AI softwares, because all you have to do is just go to ChatGPT, write, hey, make an ad for a Facebook group, letting people know that me and my partner are looking to buy a couple more houses in the area for cash. Copy what it says, paste that in a bunch of local Facebook groups in your area for New Orleans, the car meetups, whatever it is. And what you want to do too is post these in Craigslist for your local area. Make sure you have a nice phone number. If you want to get a phone number, just go to googlevoice.com. And you are just going to post this every single day. I always recommend you make at least 2 posts per day. And once you start doing this, you're going to start finding wholesaling real estate deals. You're going to start getting a ton of leads in this business. And then you start doing wholesaling deals. The cool part about these strategies is these strategies don't take 8 hours a day of doing, right? All it takes really is a couple hours, and that is it. So when you're wholesaling part-time, wholesaling on the side, or making this a side hustle, this is a really great and easy way for anyone to start going out here and doing wholesaling real estate deals. Now, a lot of people are like, Zach, I don't have the money to go out here and buy the house. Well, don't worry, that is not the problem for you. Your cash buyer, the person that rich landlord or house flipper, they're the ones who have the money to buy the property for cash. And so once you find somebody that wants to sell their house, you want to make sure that, yes, they do indeed want to sell their property. You're going to have this big question, and that's basically like, how do I figure out what the property is worth? Zach, I get wholesaling real estate, right? You write up a contract for $100,000 and then you sell it for $120,000 and you make a $20,000 finder's fee. Like, we get that, but how do I know the property is worth $120 so I can go lock it up for $100? That's probably one of the biggest questions you have. Well, this comes down to finding the value of a deal. And really what I do recommend for everybody watching this, make sure you go through my free real estate wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com, where I really show you live examples. I also have a 30-day wholesaling challenge in there at freewholesaling.com where I break this all down. But really, to give you a synopsis on camera here, is what you want to do is just find similar looking properties. And what I mean by you going out here and finding similar looking properties is if your property that the person wants to sell is 123 Main Avenue and it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that is 1,400 square feet, what you want to do is go to Zillow.com, Redfin.com, Realtor.com, any of those websites, and go search the property. And what you want to do here is look for similar houses in the past 3 or 4 months that sold in the area, specifically that neighborhood. And what you're going to do is look for other 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses that are roughly maybe 1,200 square feet, 1,500 square feet that sold. What you're going to do is get a rough calculation. And you're going to figure out that roughly, for those 5 similar houses, this property sold for $100,000 and it was 1,400 square feet. So what we're going to do is divide $100,000 by 1,400 square feet. So $100,000 divided by 1,400 square feet is going to roughly be $71.4, $71.5 per square foot the property sold for. And that's a very interesting calculation. Now, the reason for this calculation here is if I figure out that the properties here are selling for $71 a square foot, I'm gonna multiply that by my property. That might be 1,400 square, that might be 2,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet, 1,300 square feet roughly, right? You wanna be within 200 or 300 square feet. So if my subject property is 1,200, 1,400 is fine. And I'm gonna multiply that by mine. So if my property is now 1,200 square feet, I'm gonna multiply 71.5 by 1,200. That's roughly gonna be about $85,800 more or less. Maybe I'm doing the numbers wrong, but that's roughly the value of my house. Now, these are really rough numbers. They're not perfectly calculated or really done well. I'm just kind of saying this for the sake of the video to make it a little quicker. But roughly we could figure out, hey, the property is worth at least maybe 84,000, maybe up to 90, who knows, right? It's just a guesstimate range. And so we know that roughly 90,000 is the value. What we need to do as wholesalers is get a significant discount. And I would love to give you this entire video and show you repairs and MAO and LAO and all these different things. But really, I mean, you go to freewholesaling.com if you want to get like nitty gritty, like perfect, like what the property should be worth with like a really good percentage. But if you're just a beginner, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Just lowball the stinking snot out of the seller. So if you think it's worth 85, offer them $50,000 for the house. I know this sounds crazy to say, but if you just lowball them, they say, oh, I can't do 50. I mean, we can sell it for like 70. Negotiate, lock it up for 65, try to find somebody for 75, make 10K. I wish I'd go out here and just get this crazy complicated thing for you, but at the end of the day, get a rough estimate of what things worth and just lowball it like crazy and lock it up for the lowest you can, see what a buyer can buy it for, and make your money. I think most wholesalers grossly overestimate how complicated this business is. I think most wholesalers grossly overestimate the complexity of wholesaling real estate. It's a business where you buy low, sell high. That is it. So roughly try to get the property under contract for the lowest possible price. Let's try to sell it to a buyer for the highest. And again, if you lock the property up too high, you can always renegotiate the deal or just get out of it. Our real estate wholesaling contracts at freewholesaling.com, which you can download, have something called the inspection clause, which pretty much every real estate contract has if you use a realtor, where within the first 20, 30, 45 days, whatever you put in there, you can get out of the deal, no questions asked in this business. Which means if you have a problem, you just get out of the deal. And so you go out here, you meet the seller, you use our contracts at freewholesaling.com to write up the contract, and then you go sell that piece of paper, that contract, to a rich landlord or house flipper. Now, one of my favorite ways to go out here and find a rich landlord or house flipper who's gonna buy our contract from us are gonna be the Zillow for rents. So it's pretty cool. We can actually find wholesaling deals through Zillow and then sell them through Zillow. All you have to do is go to Zillow, go to the for rent section in the same zip code that we have our real estate deal locked up at. And what you basically want to do is just call these people up and say, hey, my name is Zach. I'm actually not looking to rent out your property. What I was trying to see if you were looking to buy any more rentals in the area. I'm actually a wholesaler and I just got a deal locked up in the same zip code. Call a bunch of these people, maybe 15, 20 of them. You're probably going to find 3 or 4 that actually want to buy it. Have them go to the property, look at it, see if they like it. Let's say you locked it up for 65 grand. Say, hey, would you like to buy this property for 85,000? They say, yeah, 85,000 is good. That's a good price. I can make a ton of money on this. And boom, what you do is you just give them a piece of paper called the assignment of contract, which is just giving our rights to that person in exchange for a $20,000 check at closing at the title company. Simple as that. We can go find our title companies by just calling a bunch in the area. Just search title company Memphis, Tennessee, seeing which ones are good for wholesaling real estate transactions, basically the assignment of contracts, and we're good to go get our check at closing. So overall, again, guys, what we do is we find people who want to sell their house, we write up an agreement to go buy the house, the contract, and then once we find that rich landlord or house flipper, we sell that contract to them via an assignment of contract. So we have 2 contracts. We have a purchase and sale contract, and we have the assignment of contract. The purchase and sale is us buying the house from the seller, and then the assignment of contract is us selling that contract to the rich landlord house flipper for an assignment fee, or basically what we call our finder's fee here. So all gets done through a title company, which you can call around and see the right ones, have both contracts sent to the title company, have a closing day, get our check, and make our money within 30 days. Now, I grossly simplified the process. I am not here to tell you it's super complicated, but there are a little more steps and details in between that you probably should know about. Like, how do I fill out contracts, my scripts for talking to sellers, my script for cash buyers. So it's all in my free real estate wholesaling course called freewholesaling.com, where we teach you wholesaling real estate completely for free. There's no gimmicks, there's no sales trying to hide information from you. All the info is free and easy for you to become a success in wholesaling real estate. If you want to check it out, make sure you go to my free real estate wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com, and I'll see you there when you get your next real estate wholesaling check. Guys, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.